Hello, YouTube. Hello, Patreon. Patreon is obviously seeing this first. I don't even know if I will release this to YouTube just yet, but I guess we'll see. I might just release it to Patreon because this is kind of just like one of those. Anyway, who knows? You know how I do it. In my pajamas, no editing, really raw, really real. What is the glamour? I'm serving you no makeup realness, crust on my face, coffee in my cup realness. Anyway, I wanted to talk about self-promotion because it's been on my mind and I feel like I don't talk about this enough. And I feel like that kind of ties into like manifestation and honestly shadow work really, and creating your own reality. I do believe we have the power to create aspects, so many aspects of our reality. We have the power to rewrite our way of thinking, one piece at a time. You know, whether that's a combination of literally changing your mindset and medication and treatment, whether it's an entire lifestyle change. Obviously, everyone's going to be different. Each case is going to be different. But I wanted to apply this topic to art and business and self-promotion because I feel like it's something we don't really talk about a lot here on this platform. I talk about spirituality and I talk about acting and I talk about career stuff, but I don't really talk about how I use my gifts, the gifts we all have, the gifts we all have access to, which is our ability to use our words, to use our desires, to cultivate a change for ourselves. I don't talk about how I apply that spiritual practice to my work and to my life in a practical way. But basically, if there is a project or something you are working on that you are so excited about, and even if it's not done, even if you don't know if everyone's going to like it, please talk about it and talk about it with love. Talk about it with enthusiasm. When you meet strangers, I'm not saying you have to go around banging down doors and shoving it down people's throats, because not everyone is going to want to do that, and I can understand how that can go wrong very fast. But let's say you're in a band, let's say you're writing a story, you're writing a novel, or let's say you make handcrafted goods and you have a business providing handcrafted goods, which is amazing, right? Talk about that, introduce that. Obviously, there's more to you than your endeavors, there's more to you than your projects, but a lot of us don't speak up and we don't promote ourselves and we don't speak those kind words of ourselves. We don't talk about the best version of ourselves that we are picturing in our head, because there's this shadow aspect of telling ourselves that we don't deserve it, telling ourselves, well, why should I have that? You know, where you get given a blessing and then there's a heavy weight, there's that doubt that creeps behind it, like everything's going well and you're blessed, but you're sabotaging it and it's in the back of your head. And some part of like overcoming that shadow, or not even overcoming, learning how to use that as a catalyst to fully address how you feel. And then once you understand and recognize that, you know, use that sense of self-validation. You already gave yourself the validation by looking yourself in the eyes and saying, okay, you're feeling a little shaky. You're being given the very thing that you want and you don't know how to take it. That's a moment of validation for yourself. And once you already have that, you aren't going to start, you're not truly going to need it from anyone else in that way, because you've already given it to yourself. So then you, whatever you have left, now you're going to everyone else just sharing. You're not going there telling them about your work in order to get something back, in order to get validation back. You're telling them because you are now just sharing the good news. You're sharing your gospel, if you will. So if I call myself an actor, for example, and I'm on set and I'm doing my work, or maybe I'm not on set, maybe I'm at home and I'm acting out monologues and scripts that I wrote or that I found online, or excerpts from books. And to me, that counts because that's a part of my training and that's a part of my development of my skill. If I already sit there and have that conversation with myself and I say, you know, you can have all this and then some. What's the biggest dream? Shoot higher. Well, why shouldn't you have that? Why aren't you good enough for that? Why don't you count? Why are you illegitimized? Why are you not qualified, or, what's wrong with your experience? I have that conversation with myself first. And then when I realize that I'm the one being the asshole to me, I'm the biggest critic, I can walk around and I can say with confidence and with a straight face, you know what? No, this is my normal. This is what I do. Yes, this is a blessing, and sometimes it truly feels like a miracle, and I'm so grateful, but it's also a part of my normal. This is my day to day because this is what I'm meant to do. I accept this. When I already know that, it doesn't matter what anyone else says, because in my mind, I know. Like, I'm a dancer, right? I spent so many years of my life dancing, training, being in dance companies, being in ensembles, literally getting paid to perform live in front of people. As a dancer, it says dancer on my tax forms. So professionally, no one can take that away from me. Once I crossed that line, there was no one who could tell me I wasn't professional. There was no one who couldn't tell me I hadn't made it to a certain level. I had a whole career in dance. And dancing is something I do in my day-to-day life. I dance every single day. It's a part of my spiritual practice. It's a part of my life. It makes me feel so good. It's even a part of my therapy. I dance every day. So nobody can come to me because I've done that work on myself, because I've had those years and I've had those life experiences that force me to get rid of the imposter, get rid of that self-sabotaging aspect. Even though I'm working in a different area of entertainment now and I'm doing more acting and I'm definitely calling myself an actor, I'm always going to be a dancer. Nobody can take that from me. No one can take a part of who I am from me. And if you're creative and you have a business or you have something you're working on, let's say you're just going to school and you're trying to build yourself up, you're trying to give yourself the tools you need, and you're really going through it. Let's say you're going through a tough time, but you don't want to speak up because you don't think it's a big deal. Why should anyone care? Well, we do care. We want to hear about you. And you'd be surprised who's looking up to you, who's secretly proud of you, who's seeing what you're doing and seeing the progress you're making and thinking, well, damn. Like, holy shit, like, it's got their attention. They may not like your comments or like your photos, comment, subscribe. They may not show their face to you. They may not tell you to your face, but they're your biggest fan. There are people watching you and counting on you to grow and to succeed, just waiting for you, cheering you on silently in the background that you know nothing about. So if there's something you're working on, I know this video is getting really long, but I just want to encourage you by saying, don't be afraid to speak up and to step out. And I want to hear about your journey too. I love to see you grow.